Hello, everybody, and welcome to the somethingth episode of the Nobody Has for this podcast. You know what's crazy? Each episode I start, and I've recorded 1 second, We started a single second. Sorry, I'm burping, just to be honest. Some heartburn. Now it's 25 seconds. We're going to get this time to 30 minutes. Isn't that nuts? Like you and me together, combined, talking about nothing, having a grand old time. Or we're going to spend the next half an hour together talking about random things. Maybe I'll just give you a quick preview. We're going to talk about protein bars. Okay, we're going to. We're going to talk about fall, of course, even though it hasn't started yet. Kind of a surprising update that I'm going to give on fall. We're going to talk about... I know I don't normally do this. We're going to talk about some current events. We're going to talk about this new iPhone update. I'll explain. And then we'll probably talk about maybe half of those things that I just listed because I'll forget that I wanted to talk about them and then just start talking about like diarrhea or something. Just knowing myself, knowing my patterns. You have to know thyself, which is why I took the Enneagram test. On one, did I take I think I started an episode taking the Enneagram test, and it was going to be like, no, I did take the Enneagram test. Did I take the Enneagram test on here? I can't remember, and I don't think there's anyone on the planet that listens, period, but that would listen to all of them to know whether or not something occurred on one episode of the Nobody Asked This podcast, like a specific episode. So I guess we'll never know. But all of that to say, it is, at the time of recording this, we are like 4 days away from fall or something like that. When does fall actually start? When does fall start? I should really know this. The 21st, I think. Oh, no. Very specific. Sunday, September 22nd, 2024, at 5:43 a.m. I feel like I should record the first minute of the next podcast in the first minute of fall. I feel like that would be a great moment. Now, it's 5:43 a.m. Pacific time. Could they move that potentially to p.m.? I think 5:43 p.m. would work. I'm not opposed to getting up early. I've gotten up earlier for stupider things. There was actually a time I got up at like 5 or 6 in order to get to a Burger King to try their Burger King breakfast menu items that I did not know they had. And I read the sign wrong. So I thought I needed to be there at 7 or else they stopped serving breakfast. But I think that's actually the time that it started or something. There was some discourse. I can't exactly remember. All I know is that I misinterpreted. My reading comprehension for the Burger King website wasn't where it needed to be, and it resulted in me waking up for like a moldy sandwich on a croissant. No, to say moldy is slander. Just like a little bit of a stale sandwich. Maybe they were having a bad day. I don't know. But they also had these like French toast dippers that were pretty good. Does Burger King still do breakfast? And not to call them out, but does Wendy's still do breakfast? Because I remember a couple years ago, I might have even had the podcast. No, I was just about to have the podcast. So I didn't talk about it, probably. But Wendy's started breakfast, at least where I am, about 2 years ago. And it was like the biggest deal. And it's left me with a lingering question that I can't find the answer to anywhere. See what I mean? We're not going to talk about any of the crap that I talked about in the beginning. But I like where we're going with this, so I'm going to keep going. It left me with a question, this Wendy's breakfast, that I don't think I'll ever be able to answer, which is, were Wendy's always 24 hours? Because now they're open, or not even 24 hours, but they're open like 4 o'clock in the morning because they sell like biscuits and stuff now. Which, when I tried it, to be fair, I was just coming off of a COVID scenario, so I didn't really have full taste buds back. And if we're being really honest, I don't really have full taste buds back now. I don't know if I can still blame COVID or if it's just like something else that I should probably, get checked. I was thinking the other day, I should just have like a standing yearly doctor's appointment where I can just go in once a year, maybe every spring, just so that if there's any tweaks I need to make by summer, I can do that. Or like January, February, after the holidays, I can just go in and say, hey, this is the list of things that I've diagnosed myself with over the past year. What are your thoughts? Because nothing really is a big enough issue to like make a doctor's appointment, like go in, do the whole thing. But like if I have like 9 half problems, like maybe we could work something out there. Because I'm extremely lucky that I have a doctor that I can go see. So like, why am I not utilizing this? Like, why am I turning to the internet to diagnose myself? All of that to say, Wendy's started doing breakfast 2 years ago, and I couldn't taste it. And I am still searching for the answer of whether or not they were always open, or if they closed, and like if so, like what time did they reopen? And like fast food restaurants that are 24 hours but don't do breakfast, like can you just get a burger at 3 a.m. and then at what point is it like sad that you're getting, like at what time in the morning is it like really you're getting a burger? Because I feel like 3 a.m. sounds like night, but 5 a.m. is like definitely morning. So I guess 4 is where the change happens. Somewhere like 3:30 is night, 4:30 is like morning. So I'm going to say somewhere between like 3:30 and 4:30, something shifts. And it no longer becomes time to order a burger, and it becomes time to order a like stale croissant with, we'll call it an egg, but like between you and me, it's probably not of chicken. Are eggs considered chicken? I guess they're poultry. I'm confused as to what an egg is, and I don't really want to know. I also don't love eggs. I'm not an egg connoisseur. I don't know if I talked about this last week, but I've recently been, the sentence, let's play a game. The sentence I was going to say was, I've recently been cooking eggs. What that's translating to is I cooked eggs twice in the past 2 weeks, which was out of the ordinary for me. So just so all the facts are straight. It's not like I've been cooking an egg every day, but I've done it twice since we last spoke. And I just want to incorporate them more because I feel like they're like a really easy, quick thing that you can add to like a breakfast or a lunch. And it just makes it more of like a meal as opposed to just like you're eating tortilla chips, which I love to do. So I've been cooking them a lot more. We'll just go with that. And I just don't know what it is. I'm not understanding, like, is it, like, would it have been a chicken? Because that's sad. But then it's like, I also just eat chicken. I've said this before, like, I think I have the heart of a vegetarian. Like, I really do feel bad eating meat, and I don't like it that much. Like, I could live the rest of my life without having another steak. Granted, I did just have steak for dinner not 4 hours ago, but maybe even less, maybe 2 or 3 hours ago. But like, if you told me like you can never have this again, no prob. Now I probably haven't had like a proper, like a good steak, but I don't like, you can't miss what you don't know. That's not a problem. Pork, I don't really like. Bacon, I've never met a person on planet Earth who doesn't like bacon. Even if you are vegetarian, like I think there are people that are like against the eating of meat who would agree like bacon tastes phenomenal. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the fat or something, or like what they're putting into the pigs, but like I'm sorry, bacon, the smell, the crispy crunch, like there's nothing better. However, if you told me like you can never eat this again, like I would live. I'm also sure that they've been able to kind of simulate bacon, because I've had those like bacon crackers, and it obviously it's not the same experience, but the flavor is like sort of there. So I'm sure they have like not tofurkey, but like a tofu bacon that like we could figure it out. Cause I essentially like my bacon like burnt to a crisp. And I don't really eat bacon much. But when I do, like burnt to a crisp. So you can really burn anything to a crisp. Tell me that it's bacon and we're good to go. So I'm not worried about that. What else is meat? Beef we figured out. Like Impossible, Beyond, whoever, grocery store brand, like it doesn't taste the same, but like you can season it and put it into a burger and it's like you get the same experience. It's not about everything tasting the same because at the end of the day, it doesn't. But like even dairy, like does almond milk taste like dairy milk? No. Does cashew milk ice cream taste like regular, or not regular, but like dairy ice cream? No. But like it is the same experience. You have to boil it down to, is this the same experience? I don't think they found the chicken experience. Which is funny because arguably I would say that chicken, when you just, the actual meat of the chicken has the least specific flavor as opposed to like bacon or beef. Like chicken, like the reason I love chicken is like you can season it really well and it tastes like what you want it to taste like. Whereas with a pork or a beef, I don't know when I became Gordon Ramsay. With a pork or a beef, like you kind of have to work with the flavor that it is providing. So you would think that they just have to get the texture of the chicken and then it'll be good. In my opinion, they're not there yet. I understand there's like a lot of world issues that we have to face and I'm like, let's get those down first. But like the second we have like a free lab open up or like free scientists, or maybe they want to like work on something else over their lunch break, I would like them to go back into the lab and work on fake chicken. However, I would really, really need them to prioritize if they have the time. Again, I know it's really busy. Stuff's crazy. But like fake cheese, we got to fix it. Like Daya, I don't know if that's an international brand, but the Daya brand cheese, I never want to disparage a business because I'm sure everyone's just doing their best. And I'm sure Daya is very nice, but like she has to know most of her stuff tastes like plastic because it probably is. I think like fake cheese and Cool Whip is like a molecule away from being plastic. I'm completely making that up. I don't know where I got that from. I also haven't tried that many Daya products, so maybe I'm starting to feel bad. Can you see I'm backtracking? Maybe they're great. I don't know. I've just tried a few and it's like, this isn't great. I've had a couple dairy-free cheeses on pizza. Maybe that was Daya, maybe. And it wasn't bad and it was good and it like kind of melted. But the problem is it doesn't fully melt. So when you bite into it, no matter how hot it is, it tastes like you're eating cold cheese. Does that make sense? Like, do you know when you're eating like leftovers and it was something that had cheese on it and like the cheese goes rubbery? That's vegan cheese, but at its hottest. Very similar to Hawaiian Punch. You know, the that like fluorescent, I think there's different flavors, but the red and the blue flavors come to mind first. Those, no matter how much ice you put, will still taste thick and warm. That is the equivalent of, I'm gonna stop calling out that one brand, but we're gonna zoom out. That is the equivalent of vegan cheese. Can we figure this out? Because if we can figure it out, if I could have a vegan charcuterie board and still get the same experience as a regular charcuterie board, the vegans, you have me. Like, I am willing, I'm open. I've seen the documentaries, I've seen some of them, What the Health or whatever. I've seen those awful videos of the chickens. Like, I'm not even making a joke. Like, it's awful how they treat these poor animals. So I'm down. I'm ready. But like, we got to figure out the cheese. I think this started as me being a vegetarian. Somewhere down the line, I have just committed to veganism. That wasn't my plan. But listen, everything happens for a reason. I guess I'm about to be a vegan. All of that to say, I'm sitting here drinking a coffee, as I normally do, a decaf coffee, because it is 8:30 p.m. I'm also sitting here with a water bottle. So just, as usual, it's just me and my beverages. There's nothing a beverage can't fix. Sorry, that was the straw part of my Awala. I don't know if I mentioned I have an Awala. No big deal. I'm sure I have mentioned it. I've had it for a while, and I've actually stuck to it. I've had it so long that like I've dropped it like 7 times and it's like starting to scrape, but I almost it's like has like a rustic look now. Because I was thinking like, do I just go full trendy and start putting like stickers on it? And I didn't want to do that, especially because I have the all black version, so it like looks like sleek. I didn't want to put like Free the Turtles or whatever the stickers are on them. Even though I love to the turtles. I hope the lack of plastic straws is doing you well. Sending my love, but yeah, just sitting here with my beverages. In the last week of the Nobody Asked For This podcast, in this kind of summer fall hybrid that we find ourselves, the first 3 weeks of September to me are like that week in between Christmas and New Year's, where like you're just kind of confused, and some days it feels like fall is about to start, and some days it feels like it's about to end. And I think I've finally sort of wrapped my head around that it's starting, and I'm excited. I'm trying to think if I've eaten any special fall foods in the week before us. I was supposed to do like a big shopping trip where I was going to get all of the fall goods and then hopefully do like some, if not live taste test, some sort of reviews. That's been postponed, so hoping to do that next week. Although if I had $1 for everything that I said I was going to do on the Nobody Asked For This podcast and then did not end up doing, I would have lots of money. I would probably have enough money to pay for a 1-month subscription to the podcast service that I unfortunately do pay for to put this up. So really, I'm in the reds for this. I'm down about... not to be a complainer, I'm down probably, oh my gosh, probably like $100 a year. That's okay. I actually wish I didn't know this number. That's a lot. That's like when you accidentally look at the like calorie count that they have on the menus, which whose idea was that? Like, I'm thinking strictly, like, I think it's probably good to like know what's going on, but just strictly from a business perspective, like they must have to do that, because why do I go to order, a stale, crusty croissant from a place that I feel like I've disparaged enough businesses, so I'm not going to name again, but if you rewind, you know what I'm talking about. It might be like a royalty burger place. Not Dairy Queen, but the other one. Are Dairy Queen and this place connected? Dairy Queen, Burger King. Let me just Google that really quickly. Dairy Queen, Burger King. Do they hate each other? How did I never put that together? That totally seems like something that I would think of when I can't sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. Just doing a quick Google search, it doesn't seem like they're at all related. Oh no, maybe they are now. They might have the same conglomerate. I feel like, we've talked about this before, I feel like the same 3 companies like own everything. Like if you go back, if you search far back enough, it's like everybody just owns everybody. So, regardless, what was I talking about? Fall. I was saying the dusty, crusty sandwich. Something about ordering a stale croissant. Oh, yes. They must have to put up the calories of everything, because, like, why would you want... Like, I can't imagine, especially for fast food places, like, that's helpful. Like, I don't want to see that. And again, I'm like, it's good that information and like even the ingredients and stuff should be accessible, but I wonder why it's just up on the menu board. I'm gonna Google that. Do restaurants have to put the calories? Okay, there is a regulation they have to do that. Okay, that's making a bit more sense. Regardless, What was I supposed to be? What other things were I talking about? Fall snacks. I don't think I've eaten any fall snacks. That's such a lie. What did I eat? Oh, I just had a pumpkin Pop-Tart. Honestly, I'm not just saying this, like, top 10 fall things that I can think of. This pumpkin Pop-Tart. Because they really emphasized the pumpkin. And it's specifically a pumpkin pie Pop-Tart. It's not a pumpkin spice Pop-Tart, although that would be delicious too. But I feel like when something's called pumpkin spice, it just tastes like cinnamon. Like they've just put the actual pumpkin spice, which I guess is fair advertisement, because that's what they told you that it was. But when it says pumpkin pie, it should taste like pumpkin. And the Pop-Tart, it does. I had it frozen. I put it on top of my yogurt bowl, and it was delectable. I have to try it toasted. That's kind of my next venture. I really live an exciting life. What else did I eat this week? I told you last week about my pumpkin smoothie bowl. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can listen back to that episode. I believe that was last week. Yeah, might have been the week before. No, it was definitely the week before. Or something like that. I don't know. This whole September has been a time warp. Apparently it's like almost over. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. But here we sit. I'm sitting. Maybe you're sitting. Maybe you're driving. Maybe you don't exist. But that I can only do so much. What else? Oh, I want to talk about protein bars. Okay, so this is kind of a nice transition because a lot of the protein bars that I like are coming out with fall versions. So I have a new favorite. For a while, my ultimate favorite protein bar was the Perfect Bar. It tasted like cookie dough. Again, I don't know like what is considered good and what is considered bad. I just feel like I like chocolate bars, and I like the social acceptability of like, because let's be honest, I'm gonna be real. I'm really bad at like eating breakfast, in terms of like waking up and like having a meal before I leave the house. So when in doubt, I'm getting better with the eggs. That's it. It all kind of ties back to the eggs, which when I start my new vegan journey, I'm gonna have to figure out. But protein bars in my head are like, oh, this is not an acceptable breakfast, but it's like a start, building the habits. I'm working on it. But Perfect Bar is my favorite. I do have a suggestion to the protein bar community. Why do they have to be so expensive? Like, you can go to the dollar store and get a chocolate bar for $1. $1.50. How come a single protein bar? It can be like $5. That's a crumble cookie. Like, I might as well be eating a crumble cookie. Maybe I'll just do that. I don't know. But I'm sure like if you looked at the actual, like if I brought the protein bars I eat to a nutritionist, they would probably be like, just eat a Snickers. Like, it's probably the same facts or whatever. But luckily, unlike the menu board at the fast food places, once I open the wrapper, I usually rip through the the nutritional thing, like just naturally, like not on purpose. And then I'm like, I'm not going to go back and read that, so whatever. But my new favorite, no offense to the Perfect Bar, although I do appreciate you and like that you have a pumpkin pie flavor. Again, you're just really expensive, as is this brand I'm about to talk about. But the Barbell ones, you can get both the Perfect Bar and the Barbell at Trader Joe's, but they literally taste like a Cadbury cream egg. And I'm very against when people say like, oh, this tastes like this or this tastes like that. Like, no, it doesn't, Everyone's like, oh, cotton candy grapes taste like cotton candy. No, it tastes like a grape. But again, going back to what we were talking about before, with the fake meat, like it's about the experience. The cookies and cream flavored Barbell is the same experience, or a similar experience, to the Cadbury cream egg, specifically the Oreo version, or they have like the dairy milk one with the Oreo filling. Like, it tastes very similar. Is it exactly the same? No. If you want a Cadbury cream egg Oreo version, eat that. But if you need some protein after that, have the cookies and cream barbell, because it is a similar experience. And again, I'm sure if you looked at that chart at the back, it's the same thing. One just has protein and one doesn't, which I am slowly starting to have an understanding of what protein is. Again, I was just in it for the getting to eat a chocolate bar for breakfast. Same reason why I am a new advocate for the acai bowl, because it's like you get to eat ice cream, but like people don't look at you weird if you order it at 7 a.m. Which leads me back to, would they look at you weird if you ordered it at 4? Because maybe they would think that you were ordering it as a dessert. But if you start ordering it at 4:30 or 5 from the Wendy's drive-thru, like maybe there's an acai bowl place next to the Wendy's, like once it's 5 o'clock, that's breakfast. I'm eating breakfast. But if you ordered it a couple hours earlier, even though I don't think these places are 24 hours, they would be like, oh, what a lovely dessert. I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever, but that's kind of where I'm at. But enough about food. Let's talk about the weather. We haven't done that yet. It is slowly starting to transition to the fall weather. So it really, like, everything's on track here. I feel like sometimes it's like comes too early or comes too late. We are aside from a few like pouring rainy days for no reason, we're like on track. What I don't love is the sky is getting a lot darker, a lot quicker, a lot faster. So just a moment of silence for that. Okay, we're done. And I think the last thing I didn't discuss yet was the current events of this new iPhone update. Now, I don't know what happened, but somewhere in the wee hours of midnight, I don't know if it was before 4 a.m., I don't know if it was after, so I don't know if I can call it evening, morning, nighttime, afternoon, unclear of the time. But I woke up to what I think Apple wanted me to think was a new phone, but it really looks all the same. I guess the new iPhone update came out. If you're listening to this in 5 years, for context, it is the iOS, because I'm going to still be paying the $100. If you're listening to this after I've spent $500, just know, for your reference, it is the iOS 18 update, which if you have the iOS 17, you wouldn't know a difference. Apparently, though, when I opened the voice message app, which insider secret is how I record the podcasts, it said that the audio was supposed to sound better. So, I mean, hey, maybe that's the case. But I feel like Apple does too much. I feel like they're trying to like pull the wool over our eyes when all they had to do was just like make a phone every few years. I'm not one of the people that are like, oh, they make a phone so often, like, it's like, stop, like, you know, once you order one phone, you're going to have to order a second one. If you're someone who orders the new phone each year, like, that is on you. I'm not going to judge you for that, but, like, even Apple, like, it probably thinks, like, okay, that's a little much. Like, you don't, it is the same phone. In fact, for a while, they were doing this formula of, like, it would be a number, and then the next year it would be, like, a number with an S. So it would be, like, the 4, and then the 4 would be revolutionary. But then the 4S the next year was, like, I don't think it stood for this, but in my head it was like the 4's sister, where it was like the same. It was the same thing. They maybe had like added a button or like the line. They added like a antenna line in a different spot, but it was the same thing. And then it was like the 5, and that was new. But then it was the 5S, and that was the same. Somewhere around, they completely skipped the 9. Like there's no iPhone 9 that ever existed, which is kind of hilarious. But somewhere around, I want to say the 10, like they have just looked the same. And now instead of making the actual phone different, they just add a new stovetop or a new ring to the stovetop camera design. And like I feel the way about the iPhone camera that I do about music. It's like I get nervous thinking about like how many more of these can we produce? Like in music, there are only so many notes, there are only so many like options. And yeah, I'm sure when they started music however many years ago, I don't even want to try and guess because I don't really know. Is it hundreds, thousands, 100,000s? I don't know. But when they started music, they probably thought like, yeah, like we'll we have so much time before people start copying each other, but like it's happening. Like I think we're getting to the point where like we've put all of the combinations together. And I think that that's where Apple is. And they just need to take a long, hard look at themselves and realize that like maybe a phone every 3 years will do. You know, like come back with something original. I vow to not upgrade my phone until they come with something new. Come with something new. Like my phone's 5 years old. It looks the almost exact same as the phone that just came out. Why is that? Why is that? But then if you think about it, like I'm sure Samsung comes out with like multiple phones a year. So really all Apple's doing is one phone a year, which is less phones a year than most actual phone companies. But for some reason, they can't think of a new idea. And like, here's the thing. Maybe it doesn't have to work. You already have $1 trillion. Try something weird. Try a flip phone. Try a beeper. Bring the pager back. Like, just try. And then at least in 10 years, it'll be a funny, like, oh, remember when we did that? Like, haha. Like, people don't take risks anymore. Everything's a sequel. Everything is like a remake. Don't even get me started. I saw a trailer for the new Lion King that's coming out, which is like a sequel or something to the quote-unquote live-action version that came out, I want to say, 5 years ago. When I bought my phone, $500 ago. No, I wasn't paying the $100 a year 5 years ago. But my biggest issue with that whole narrative is like they basically remade The Lion King, which is a great film. They remade The Lion King, and I know this is such old news, but like they remade The Lion King, called it like they were trying to tell us that it was live action, and then I went to go to the theater thinking like I was about to see like humans, because like, I'm sorry, live action. And it was just animated, as it should be. Like, we don't need to be putting, like, we didn't need humans acting out The Lion King. And then we also didn't need animals, because I'm about to be a vegetarian, so I'm fighting for the animals. We didn't need the animals having to be, like, put to work. So I'm glad it was, like, fake CGI, but, like, so you just made Lion King again, is what you're telling me. But then we were calling it live action. Polar Express is more live action than whatever The Lion King was. And then they're like, oh my gosh, our movie did so well. We made so much money. It's like, well, yeah, because the first one did so well. Like, they're like patting themselves on the back like we thought of such a good idea. You literally copy and pasted a script that people have been loving for like probably almost 30 years. Did I go to see it? Yes. Did I like it? Yes. Did I hope that Mufasa didn't, spoiler alert, was I holding on for dear life, hoping that he would hold on to that cliff or whatever? Yes, I was. Was I even more devastated when the same fate that I knew was going to happen played out? Yes. Is that the definition of insanity? Yes. I guess I'm going to see the sequel. I don't know. I'm not understanding live action. And then, I'll be done soon, and then they did, what was the new one? The Little Mermaid. And I was like, oh, here they go again. It's going to be, it's live action. And then I'm going to get to the theater and it's going to be just like better 3D fish. Now, I haven't seen that movie, the new one, but I think that one is actual people. So see, that's live action. So Disney, you do understand what live means. Maybe I'm just not understanding the proper definition of live action. I don't know. But like, am I live action? I think I'm live action. But like not visually. Is a podcast live action? Audio live action? I don't know. I'm okay. Just to make sure I'm not missing something. Definition of live action. We can get Merriam-Webster to enter the building here on this one. Do they do definitions for like a term that's 2 words? Okay, live action involving real people or animals as contrasted with animation or computer-generated effects. Okay, I don't know what that last part means. With as contrasted. Does that mean as instead of? I think it means instead of. Okay, real people or animals. What about the Lion King 2019 version was live action? Like, again, I'm sure this was a huge discussion at the time, but I'm just confused. Anyway, I don't know where to go from here, so I'm just going to say thank you so much for listening. Be sure to go to Disney Plus and use code Nobody Asked for This for no % off to watch all of the movies that I just said were bad. Even though I liked the Lion King new one. I was just confused. But regardless, I hope everyone has a nice week. I will see you in actual fall. It has been a blast hanging out in the meantime, in between time of summer and fall. I realize I am wearing white. They're more like a cream colored shorts, which I think I was supposed to stop wearing after Labor Day, but I don't care. I'm also in a hoodie. So it's like I was doing both. I was doing summer shorts and then fall hoodie. Crazy as crazy does. If you like what you heard, which I can't imagine why you wouldn't, you can go to podcastnobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. Listen to all our episodes, all 100 and something. I just did that thing. Do you know when you are talking, but then you burp, but it's like happening at the same time? I don't know if that picked up on the audio. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But if you want to hear more of that, because I do that quite a bit, you can go to podcastnobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. On there, you can click the Spotify, what's the other thing? Apple Podcasts, the people I was just talking about. All of that stuff. Google, Samsung. We're where you can find podcasts. Not to brag. Not many people have found us there, but we're there. Just waiting. And I thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.